What is going on, everyone? It's Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. There's some amazing, magical, crazy things happening in the market. By amazing, I don't necessarily mean good. I mean amazing in the actual context of the word. We're looking at Bitcoin to start with. We're going to look at how currency markets are affecting crypto and what I think is going to come this week. So to start with, I've been writing about this a lot in our free weekly newsletter. If you want to find it, it's literally right here. Click this link. Boom, takes you to our Substack. If this is going to load, yes it is. In this Substack, I've been writing about what I'm going to talk about right now for weeks. Literally weeks. I think since week 82, I talked about the fact that we're trading within a range for Bitcoin. In 2017, this range took 111 days, but when we broke out of this range, we saw a huge uptick, 1,400% in the following 238 days for Bitcoin, and actually more of a 3,700% in the following 222 days for alts. So strap in. It's time to be accumulating alts when we're at the bottom of the range of Bitcoin. I have talked about how I thought Bitcoin could come down, grab some liquidity below the range that we're trading in now, then start to look to head higher. Still feel like it's my base case. Everything that I talk about in this video is short term. I think everything's going to go up a hell of a lot more, and let's have a look at currencies and see why I think that. Remember, I'm not a macro trader. I've been in the macro traditional finance area for maybe 3 or 4 years, and crypto for I don't know, feels like forever. 7 years now, 6, 7 years. Got in it like 2017, so yeah, like 20. That's like 7 years. Wow, that's crazy. But anyway, let's talk about what is going on right now. We've got the Japanese yen falling heavily against the dollar, and this to me is not organic price action. This to me is intervention from the BOJ, the Bank of Japan. Why do I think that? Well, look at the size of the volume coming in on the JPY versus the USD. So what is happening here? As the dollar or the dollar against the yen reached up to 160, I feel like the Bank of Japan stepped in and they're selling dollars and buying back yen. This strengthens their currency because they're on the verge of currency collapse almost here. So they've got to do something to solve the problem. They had a big dump. Let's go to the minute chart just to show you how massive these jumps down are. So these are probably, these big red candles are probably where they're dumping US dollars and buying back yen. So dumping, buying back yen, and then the market's probably saying, okay, that's the bottom. We're going to buy or we're going to sell yen continually, and then they dump again. So it's crazy. It's crazy times. Look at the size of this volume. The issue that they've got, and this is something that I've written about, is that Western Nakamura talked about. They've got tens to hundreds of billions of US dollars. If they try and sell it and the market recovers, then what the hell do they do if the market continues to head down after they're selling out of their reserves? I don't know. And look, there's strong like continuation of sells on the JPY against the dollar even after this manipulation or intervention from the Bank of Japan. Now, what does this mean? It means that in the short term, the DXY probably drops. I've been talking about the DXY in this range and how it's deviating from a range. I've been talking about that for a little while. Look, I've tweeted about it loads of times over there on X. So I've said that we deviated below, we deviated above, and we're deviating above again, like expect that we fall down. One thing that has been concerning me a little recently is that we are forming like a bull flag, which is a descending parallel channel after an upwards move. It's just about 62 to 68% of the time this is a continuation pattern. So does it mean we'll definitely continue? No. When we see a big red engulfing candle like this, presuming this day closes like this, then we should see continuation to the downside, because my base case is the range deviation that we're in now, and would like to see us come all the way down to the bottom of the range and maybe further, but who knows what happens next. Well, the next thing that I'm looking towards is the CNY, which is the Chinese renminbi or the yuan. I think that is, they also are basically looking to weaken valuation of the yuan, or what's the spill off of the Japanese yen into the yuan. How's that going to affect the DXY? They've got dollars, and basically they're going to sell a hell of a lot of dollars. They're going to devalue the yuan, sell a hell of a lot of dollars, print inside China, and buy back the yuan or the renminbi. So they're going to stimulate but sell dollars. So in the short term, is the dollar going to lose strength against the yuan because they're going to stimulate inside China maybe, to pay for all the problems that they've got and buy back the yuan with dollars so it doesn't affect the currency too much. Maybe we have a spike up. I don't know, like it's crazy times, because if we also look at this that I tweeted about on Friday, we had the first ETFP, Bank Term Funding Program. What does this mean? Like, banks have now started to collapse 4 weeks after the liquidity program ends for banks. Banks are starting to collapse. I made a long thread about this specifically, talking about all my thoughts over here on air. Everything I've just talked about there, the Japanese, the Chinese currency, and against the US dollar. Basically, with the trading of the spot and the spot Ethereum ETF coming this week to Hong Kong, I feel like Bitcoin and crypto are going to be a good place to move very soon. Exactly when, I don't know. How much pain the markets are going to feel, I don't know. But in the long term, Bitcoin and crypto is going to massively outperform. One thing I was talking about for a while is how boomers and people in general move to gold in times of uncertainty. They did move to gold, and it did increase in value, the gold price. But if you look percentage-wise, Bitcoin and crypto are things specifically that tick up when liquidity is ticking up. So when liquidity is upticking in society, or around the world, which it looks like it's going to start happening now. If we have some issues with Japanese currency, they're probably going to do some sort of currency manipulation, and same in China, and probably the same in the US with liquidity issues with the banks. All that currency will at some point see some flow into fixed assets like Bitcoin and gold, but Bitcoin and crypto move up more because the market cap's smaller, and they're also driven by the network effect, and so they have that exponentiality or the multiplier effect on price. Basically, it means that some of the money is going to flow into crypto, one, for protection, but from the currency itself, but two, because there's going to be excess liquidity and it's got to go somewhere, and some will probably go into the stock market and some will probably go into crypto. So accumulating your favorite alts at this time when Bitcoin is towards the bottom of its range, as you can see right here, is a good play in my personal opinion. Obviously it's not financial advice, guys, but do we have a few days, weeks left in this range? Potentially, but when you get towards the bottom of the range, it's time to be stocking up your bags, because as I said at the start, the next phase is exponential up for crypto. When we get out of this range, we break through this chop, the next phase is parabola season. As Raoul Pal talked about, and I retweeted today, from the banana zone. This is where we are. There's a lot of FUD happening in crypto at the minute. It's the first time, as I said today, that I've seen the fear and greed index come back down into neutral. We're close to taking a step up, whether that's days, weeks, or like low months, I don't know. But with the financial uncertainty around the world, with the US banks, with the JPY, and with the renminbi and the yuan, I think liquidity is about to come, and it could be a liquidity bazooka. I think crypto is about to take an absolute rocket ship. So accumulate at these prices, as long as you can sit and wait out this boring FUD and the range that's made to shake out weak hands, you're going to get rewarded heavily, is my personal opinion, as long as history repeats. Unless we see some sort of huge financial collapse, which is also possible, but not my base case. And I'll tell you why. Because if things were going to collapse, why would they have not collapsed in 2008? Why not let it happen during C19? I don't think it will happen now. It doesn't make any sense before election. If you think people like Joe Biden, for example, wants to get re-elected, is he going to let a financial crash happen on his watch? I would expect no. I would expect more than likely he would print the dollar into oblivion before we saw some sort of economic collapse. That's my personal opinion. So with all that being said, guys, I haven't got too much more to touch on for you. I have spoken about a few different things. I'll give you a little bit of alpha here. There's a few charts that I think look pretty good, and only on a technical level. Dash is one of them. It looks pretty much like Solana did before Solana took off, and someone was talking to me about how the Bollinger Bands, let's have a look at them, Bollinger Bands on Dash monthly are like the tightest they've ever been. So this looks like some volatility is about to income, or incoming for Dash. Backtest of this, the breakout of this descending trend line, and then potentially a move forward. Could we see a narrative around privacy coins? I don't know. Another few cryptos that I'm watching right now, obviously XRP, but I'm also looking at the relationship between Ethereum and Bitcoin. I do think that we are about to see alts really launch. I think sushi swap, so like I think DeFi within Ethereum, within the Ethereum ecosystem looks pretty good. But I also think there's an interesting narrative going on with DeFi right now. Consensus obviously coming out to sue the SEC after the SEC filed a Wells notice to the Ethereum Alliance. It's kind of like a narrative shift, but if you think that that could be happening at the same time that Ripple and XRP come out of their lawsuit against the SEC, maybe it's time for a narrative towards XRP. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe it's biased because I like XRP specifically. But yeah, there's a few little things to be watching. I'm also really interested in flies. I've talked about this a few times on my Twitter and wrote a little thread about it yesterday, or a long old post here. So flies is basically a fungible version of the Mutatio X copy NFT. Go and check that out if you haven't checked it out. A lot of information there. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Just wanted to give you a bit of an update. Let me know what you think in the comments. Peace up, A-Town down, as I should say.